from KTUL Tulsa. You're watching Good Day Tulsa.
We have a very busy show today. We're going to have our favorite celebrity historian, Raffi Andonian, is here.
He's back.
He's back, and he's talking about something really cool. Gifts from the Garden Month. He's going to talk a little bit about what some of our founding fathers were growing in their gardens.
Well, at least we're not painting his toenails.
All right. Right after the break, our favorite celebrity historian, Raffi Andonian, will be joining us to share more about Gifts from the Garden Month. We'll be right back. May is Gifts from the Garden Month, so we had to bring in an expert to share a bit of history for us today.
That's right. Joining us to share more is celebrity historian, that's a different word, historian Raffi Andonian.
Well, thank you for coming in. I had no idea that this Garden Month thing even existed, but you said that it kind of all started in the U.S. with our founding fathers and their beautiful gardens, and these are lovely.
It does. And the founding fathers are picking up a trend from the, Queen of England. Actually, predates them by a couple centuries. So you all know Queen Elizabeth II, who recently passed away.
Well, that's my old home girl.
And to this day, we look at royalty for some trends, right? You think about in England, we still pay attention. But there was Queen Elizabeth I prior to Virginia being founded. Actually, she was known as the Virgin Queen of England, and Virginia was named after her. And that's why it's called Virginia. So the founding fathers who are in Virginia are several generations after Queen Elizabeth, but they are inspired by what she made popular with gardening. Because gardening prior to that had kind of gone through a decline in Europe, and before that was mostly for food and other stuff. Like ancient Egypt, they would grow like pomegranates, vineyards and other things, nuts, figs. But that was a different thing that Queen Elizabeth did. And so now the founders picked up. Now you think about Jefferson and Washington, they're both farmers. That's their primary living, even though we think of them as politicians. And they loved ornamental gardens. They love to show off their gardens. You go to their homes to this day, is tons of gardens out there at Monticello and at Mount Vernon, which are their homes. And so they love to show this off. Think about the era. And you're seeing some images here from colonial Williamsburg. Think about the era that you're looking at. These are folks that are fascinated by science, the Enlightenment era and so on, so they want to show plants from around the world, not just natives. They like the natives because it's America, but they also like to show that they're men of the world. So that's what the gardens represented for those folks.
You were saying that there's something interesting with cemeteries at one point, kind of becoming a garden type
so in their
place.
era, what happens is that, cemeteries are pretty plain. What happens later, and you have a great local example here in Tulsa with the Memorial Park Cemetery, established about 100 years ago, is that cemeteries also become a place for gardens. So if you go to Memorial Park Cemetery, what you'll see is trees, you'll see the lake, you'll see lots of stonework, very picturesque and peaceful. That's not how cemeteries looked before. And so that's the result in the 19th and early 20th century of increased urbanization causing public health problems. So they started to take cemeteries out and turn them into garden spaces as well. And public health concerns that happened also with a lot of death, like the Civil War, a lot of death and sanitation issues, dead bodies everywhere. So those things combined to create this sort of saying, let's make cemeteries more glorious as opposed to tragic, a destination. A family can go there, spend a day with their passed away family member, and notions of death change as a result of that too, from being something tragic to being something glorious and romantic.
Oh my gosh. See, I had no idea.
So you got to check out the Tulsa local cemetery.
Yeah, Sam Kinnison's buried there. A lot of notable Tulsans buried there as well.
Historic cemetery. Now, you can also check out, of course, the Tulsa Botanic Garden. That's another cool example of different ways that gardens can be used. You have the nature trail with the natives there. You have the floral terraces, which is a different thing. You have the children's garden, which right now is spring, so it's a great time to go out. And so when you go out and check out the children's garden, it's more experience-based learning. And they also have a civic garden opening up. So it's a great example of how gardens, depending on how they're used, as with the founding fathers and in cemetery and here today with the Botanic Garden, depending on how they're used, can mean different things, set the stage, can communicate, as the founding fathers try to do, with showing off different flowers. So it's a great season to go check it out and in some ways engage with history because it's a long tradition.
As usual, he comes armed with information.
So in other words, we went from pink toes to begonias. You just never know.
Still colorful. We'll paint the colors with these different flower colors next time.
Beautiful. You're right. It's totally beautiful. For more information on Raffi Andonian, just visit his website. You'll learn a ton like we always do. CelebrityHistorian.com. That's CelebrityHistorian.com. Visit local gardens with your family at Tulsa Botanic Garden. You'll find them at TulsaBotanic.org.
All right. Thanks for sticking around. We'll be right back.